All right, all right, all right, all right. Here I go, y'all. Here I go, here I go. I had to stop y'all in motion. Woo! All right. Happy Mother's Day. Thanks for the thumbs up for whoever tuned in. Yes, as y'all see, I have not gotten the fro done yet. Not yet, not yet, not yet. I had to tune out. I went to try to get things squared away with this hair that I had to cut. But you all know how it is, and your mother, and then you're trying to work around your children, which I did that with my youngest daughter, tried to work around her schedule. And so I did not get a chance to put this hair up yet, but it's okay, y'all. We're gonna get there. All right, mom. So y'all ready? This is for you all. I wanted to come at 4:30, but this 5 o'clock. This is my best that I could do. So to I set my other appointments aside so that I could tune in to give a special shout out and honor to all of our dear mothers and to those who help take care of their mothers, those who respect the woman that has cared and nurtured all of the children up until this day. So I'm glad to see you. Sister Rebecca, I called you, but I'm glad you tuned in. 9 p.m. But it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Happy Mother's Day weekend. As you all know, I state that we should be celebrating this every day. Every day, our parents should be honored. Every day, every day. I stated this concerning Father's Day, Black History Month. Everything starts with a foundation. God let us, allowed us to be here, and it was a foundation, you all. And so, no, I didn't have nothing particularly stripped. I'll give a few time enough to try to come in. If not, oh, it's 5:11, y'all. Oh, look at this clock. I know it's a different time of where you are, Sister Jamaican, and whoever else may tune in. It's 5:11. That's my mother's birthday. I promise I did not try to do that. I promise I did not try to do that. This has happened to me a couple of times. And today is May the 10th. Tomorrow will be my mother's birthday. So for those of y'all that tune in, you'll know. Oh, and then I emailed too. I hope you got the email as well too. Our terrible 311s. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So here's again the picture, one of the pictures I love the most of my mom. Happy Mother's Day to my dear beloved Willie Ann Hill Stokes. Very, very special woman. I was who made her a mom because I'm the firstborn child to my mother, and my daughter was the same. And so to give a few a little time to come on, and I'm gonna look into that, yes, because I most definitely called. I was working my schedule around you. I'm gonna play a little song that I used to play to my firstborn. Some of you all may know it, and I know you have a firstborn daughter, Sister Jamaica. I have met her over the phone. She's a beautiful voice, and she's doing a great work as well, to my understanding. Um, and so, if y'all don't mind, I would like to dedicate this song while the different ones see that I'm here. I see some slowly but surely coming in. I do see that. So, thank you so much for taking out your busy Friday weekend to try to tune in to me. I appreciate it. I was agreeing with you on the time frame. Oh, five. Okay, 3:11. Yes, yes, that 3:11 is a good one too. But I couldn't believe it. But that was confirmation that I was supposed to come to you all on this day. My mother was the type where she never allowed me to give up on anything that she thought that was good and special, especially if it could help others. That's how she was, and that is in me. You all hear me talk about this all the time. Even when there's no particular so-called holiday, I don't see this as a holiday. I see this as an honorary day, the same as I do for Father's Day and any other special day where we're honoring our ancestors and those who've gone before us to do great work. I have been raised in the scriptures that says to give honor where honor is due. And so I will forever, until the day I transition, be giving honor to the good, to the good things that my mother has done for me and poured into me. And perseverance is one of them. A vision, even in my most youngest years and being nervous about a lot of things, she would tell me that can't is not that's not a part of our vocabulary. And even though it was certain things that I felt like I couldn't accomplish in life just because of distractions, and or either I just didn't want to do it at the time, I didn't see the significance in doing it, she would always push. She was one of those that always pushed in. And then there was times in major decisions where she would just be silent, she would just pray. And I believe that it was through the power of my mother's prayers that really always resonated with me. As you all see, this is the reason why this is the picture that I love the most, is with her with the praying hand. That was her. Everyone that knew her, even though she was one that had many different talents, very songstress. She also played the percussions as well, the congos. She could feed the multitude. We used to joke about her being like Jesus, to feed 5,000 with 2 loaves of bread, with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. That's the we know her for that, because she just had an ability of doing that. She had become a head cook after having us at a very young age. And even though at the time her and my father didn't marry, that was my mother was his first love. And he took that to his grave, that he would never marry another woman outside of my mother. And he did. He took that to his grave. So either one of my parents, my biological parents here, and my step up dad, he vowed the same. He's pastoring still, and he has had a difficult time transitioning on. He's still doing the ministry that he believed God has called him to do. And even he said he could not do that to a woman and try to compare her to my mother, because it's a mighty seat to fill, with the work that they did for almost 20 years in the ministry, and more importantly, to have the strength and to be as unique as she was, concerning how unique and different and how raw he was as well. It was just something hearing that. And my mother was one that waited some years. She waited before she married. She devoted all her time into me and my sisters and my brothers and our family, and into the community, into the church, into her missionary work, and was just very, very, very highly respected wherever she went. Wherever she went. Um, and so I have that to look up to with her. Yes, I wish, like most of us, that understands how how beautiful it is to have your mother to live for a long period of time or a longer period of time. Yes, I wish, like anyone else, and desire that, yes, that my mother had made it to that, at least to that 100-year mark, but she didn't. So that let me know that it was meant for me to carry on the torch, to carry on the work, the good work that he started in her and in my grandmother and my mothers before them, that I am the one that is supposed to continue on that good work. It's many that stated, even my first cousin that transitioned, um, that looked just like my grandmother. She transitioned last year, I believe, the end of last year, and her name was Tasha. Even though she was a firstborn daughter as well, she she admired my mother so, and tried to keep up with her, and did get a chance to see her. She was just so persistent to see my mom when she was out of town. We all had traveled to Florida, and she did. That was just the type of connect that she had. She just knew how to bring joy out of everybody around her, and she knew how to be down to earth, very, very down to earth, but yet highly spiritual. And that was a combination that we wasn't accustomed to seeing from other mothers. So meaning she put her life into everything that she did. That was not, I could say to this day, there is no one, and I've come across so many people from the age from when I was a little girl up until now, that stated that they had any disgrunt with my mom, and or that didn't find her to be one special woman and a prayer warrior. Is all positive, all positive. And so this is a heavy responsibility that I have to carry on. No, I don't think I would ever meet, and that's a good thing because that means I always have something to look up to. I don't think I would ever be able to really mount up to the type of spiritual woman that she was, because she had her own set of tests and trials to get her where she had gotten. But I believe that I can perfect the area of learning and education and knowledge that I have accumulated and that I learned from her, that I can at least take it to the next level with having learning how to eat to live and to live better in that particular area. I believe that I can do soar to do more in that area. And so I pray that for those of you all that have, hey, Sister Dorothy, happy Mother's Day weekend to you all. I pray that even though there are those who may not have had that type of mom or that type of experience with their mother, that through me, you will feel it, because my mother, and I say it so often to so many, I said my mother was the type that she could love another mother's child. And there's so many that had come across her path that's doing great now, and their mothers. And I never forget a young sister, but I'll just call her Sister C, because I don't know if she's comfortable with me stating this out in the open, but it's a beautiful thing. I remember it was a young lady that lived up the street from us, and her mother was a very smart woman. But unfortunately, something happened in her life to where she became an alcoholic. And so she would travel in and out and, do her thing and be within her relationships. And she was never able to tend to her daughter. And she only had the one daughter and the older son. And we remember the young girl always roaming about. Sometimes she wouldn't have on clothes. Sometimes she would smell, reaping with, she wasn't clean. Let's just put it to like that. Her mother hadn't taken care of her, and she was still in grade school. Well, something drew her to my mom, and she would come and knock on our door. And my mother began to keep her. And she even went to her mother's house to try to catch up with her, because sometimes it would get late in the evening. And I remember the light bulb coming on, because I was only about maybe 13, 14 at the time. And I would be looking, I'm like, where is this girl's mother? And it was just so baffling to me, because our mother had always been there all the time. And so I would get a little frustrated. I would, because I had never seen anything like that before. And I was like, are you serious? Your mom is not home and it's just you? And we would say, where's your brother at? Well, he's not there neither. Well, that little girl, after a while, my mother was persistent. She would walk down, because at the time my mother was not even driving. She would walk a block up or two. The young lady had to go, this young girl had to walk in the midst of traffic just to get to us, to get to the next block, to get to us. And so that was not safe at all, because they were known for not driving well coming off that back end road. And not to mention, there was a colony up from us, farther down the road. And you all know what a colony is. So the other persuasion of wealth would come in that area, just particularly for our young ladies. And so I thought about that, and I thought, wow, this baby doesn't have any protection. Long story little short, somehow my mother got a chance to catch up with the mom. And before you know it, she came to my mother. She said, I can't do it. I need help. I need to get myself together. Can you please keep her for me? And so my mother began to work around her schedule and keep her. Well, to this day, that young lady grew up to be a nurse, married, with children. Her children are going off to the military. They're doing great. And so things like that. And I have layers of stories along the lines of the impact that my mom had on young ladies and young women. And I do see my life unfolding in that manner as well, setting forth that example. But It was just something different. You all know that was back in the day when we had the village. When a young girl or boy couldn't go past a block without Mrs. Johnson, Miss Brown, and Mrs. Childs, and my aunts and uncles, and us gravitating to that child. We knew who the problem, as we call the problem children, were. And so I'm saying that to say that the stress, even when a mom was stressing out, she knew she could rely on one of the mothers on that block to take that child. And so even seeing this in the early 80s, you see, I grew up in a village. And so I wouldn't understand, even when I started to go through things after 13 years of marriage and had to go through a divorce and realize that, wait a minute, well, I still had someone, my brothers or sisters, I had some village around me because they grew up in the village. Now, no one never had to fully take care of my children, but when it was time for me to go ahead and go dive deep into this practice and start to help more and start to do it, and my basic income did not even come from it, I knew that this is just what I needed to do in order to carry on and not give up the way my mother told me to. And I knew that this is ministry for me as well. And so even in the midst of my children, they always had aunties and uncles to call on, or aunties and uncles to be around, some cousins, but not not in its fullness like what I had. And so I want to use this special for the mothers to encourage you all, that for those you all, that I know times are so much more different now. I know we have to be careful now, but I would like to inspire you all to just be prayerful and be that village that we often talk about when you are able, for the parents and for the other mothers and fathers that will allow you to be. Because guess what? Y'all know where I'm at. I'm at that end of 40 bracket, and some of you all are more mature than I am that's tuning in. They're going to be our future. And I know you all think about it because I do too. So this message is special. It's the only thing that come to mind is that I'm supposed to honor you all, but at the same time, help to inspire you all and to encourage you all that are really mothers that really do care, to keep a lookout for caring for another mother's child. Because without that village, they're broken, they're lost. And at some point, we're going to reach that age or stage where you never know if that is the child that may have to help take care of you if your children can't, or if they have to. Now, I'm going to be honest, as a mom, I am at the place where I'm like, I tell my daughters, and my middle girl tells me, the one I tell you that's in college and working and doing her thing, and she's just gifted with all of the gifts that my grandparents on both sides and myself have. She just has all of these extra abilities, and I saw it in her in birth. It's one of the reasons why when I birthed her, she was my third child, and my son the second, my son Kenneth. I would tell them, no, you're not giving me a blood transfusion, because I was anemic then, still battling with it and not allowing a lot of space and being fully educated enough in the area, no encouragement to not to have children back to back, or allow that 2 to 3 year gap of space. My body was depleting. And no, I did not have what they say. Let me show you my vitamin. I did not have my liquid vitamins, and the hospital vitamins and prenatal vitamins were not good for me either. They were causing, they had too much artificial iron in it, too many fillers, and they were causing a problem with me, causing me to have a bulging vein in the back of my leg. So I couldn't take that either. The iron pills that they gave me was very toxic as well, and very constipating to my vessels as well. So I knew that those wasn't original. That's my experience of what they were giving us at that time. And so I'm saying all that to say that I knew that this child would be the one that would challenge me the most. All of them have in their own way. But I understood by watching them and being fortunate enough to be a stay-at-home mom for the first 11, 12 years of their life, that they all had their own special gifts and abilities. And I knew that they all would be challenged because they would be unique and they would have the love of God in their hearts the way the grandparents did, the way I do, the way their father goes out as well. And even though we have difference of opinions on things, still the mission is to teach God, and what would Jesus do is still in them. And that makes them different in a lot of ways from what the world is trying to take and project onto our children. And so I would like for us to really, during this segment, to really take out the time to think about that as moms. And yes, in my case, I had many distractions after the first 13 years of raising my children. And yes, I did remarry, and some of you all that's tuning in, you all know how that has gone. And what God had shown me is that as mothers, when you are blessed to have a womb, it's not it's not just your children that love you and want from you, and that's natural. But the outside world wants it too. When you are one that'll go as far as a Sister Jamaica will go to fight up against the odds, to take care of your children with all of the many different distractions, with all of the naysayers. When you are one like a Sister Dorothy, where she's going to take care of her grandkids and all of the rest of the children, what you say, Sister Dorothy, 12, 13 children, you're something special. And I'm learning that you have to be very, very cautious with, if you're not already married, you have to be very, very cautious with the men that you allow in your life at that time, because if they didn't truly experience that with their own mother, I don't care what they come before social media and lie about, they're going to pull that from you. They're going to try to pull that from you. And when they realize that this is something natural, that starts from birth, that you can't fully pull from another mother when she's trying to mother your children. We can only be wives. The nurturing part of your cooking, cleaning, and supporting, that's supposed to be enough. But to have to hold and deal with you, with another adult, and you constantly allowing the adversary to use you, and you're supposed to be the head and not the tail behind closed doors, and you're putting the pressure on the woman while we still have to have strength to care for our children and other mothers' children. Oh, mothers, we have to be very, very selective and very careful. That's just like we don't even allow every child around our children. If that child is known for always fighting, and that other parent says, well, you can't chastise my child. Well, and what do we say? Well, if I can't chastise your child and your child think that it's okay to come through here to tear up my house, come on now. And you think that they can come through here and beat up and torture and terrorize all the children, then you need to keep that child at home. That's what I grew up hearing. Because they get out of hand and they don't want to respect my house rules and what I'm telling them out of love and tender care. And they know I don't mean them no harm. And my God, if they think that they got the audacity to think they're going to rev up and hit you back. You don't go ahead and stay on over there with your mama. Because we're not in this house. As for me in my house, there will be no little ones disrespecting the elders. There will be no little ones running the house. And you all are tuned in. If not, you are tuned in and you've seen where I had my grandson with me. And I may have only had to get him once because he's so mature to be so little. He'll be 5 this year, at the end of this year. And he just automatically have us that mature level in him. And yes, his mother did have children behind him right away. So he's already growing up fast, but he knows. And so I said, Father, help your children. My godfather Bishop Albert Lee Petway would sing the song, and he's an outstanding father of four and grandfather. I used to want him to be in the lineup as my dad, and he did. He's in the lineup. So if I call them, I need anything, they tell me. Need anything, let us know. And they're my Alabama family. And he would sing a song, Father, help your children. He was a very gifted man and has his own songs and gospel songs and CDs and productions out. And the song, Father, help your children. Don't let them fall by the side of the road. Teach them how to love one another. Heavenly Father. Y'all, some of y'all have heard the song. I'm not going to sing it. I don't feel like I got the voice right now. But you all would know it if I say, for those who ever listened to some of the older gospel music. And it would get everybody in the whole congregation just crying. You could hear the silence and it's like it was bringing us all back to what being a mother and a father was about. And that's why to this day, I've been propositioned all in so many different ways. I have. And that is one that a man could never, ever, never, ever, never, ever. Let me say it. Can I keep it 1 million? You don't help that mother take care of them children? And I don't mean by child support. You can't say that you're a great one if you're interfering in the process of not being there to take care of those children. And you are allowed to, and you deliberately put yourself before, just as us mothers cannot put ourselves before the children because we birthed them into this earth, neither can the fathers. I don't care what this world is putting out here and making it seem like it's more important to go and live your best life, or want to try and find other things to do that you think that is more important than raising your children, your seed. I don't care. It's wrong on so many levels. And through time, those of us who's been mothers, now I know as a mother of children that are 20 something years of age, my youngest will be 20 within 2 months. I know now that you'll always have to answer for whatever ailed them, whatever they can say. You'll always we're always having to teach them. Always. Just like we want to be exonerated for what that was when I was in my teens. So that was when I was in my girl, I was young and dumb. You know how we do it, ladies, women's. You know how we do it, girl. That was back in the day. Well, I hadn't been saved yet, Well, what do we think our children are going to have to go through? And look at how they have the whole world at the exposure after them now. It's not them with the cell phone getting exposed to the world. I just heard this quote. But it's them, the world having access to them now. Because now they can feed their brains whatever they click on. Whatever. We were blessed not to have that kind of strong temptation. And now even some of us that are parents are falling into that trap. You had to put it to the side. You have to remember, wait a minute, I was raised with a village for those of us who were. Wait a minute. This is immoral. This is unorthodox. No. Your son can't come just to make some money off of TikTok, be terrorizing the whole house. Yeah, it'd be funny sometimes, but a lot of times it's not funny. I've seen the silly stuff where they doing blooper stuff on the parents, on their moms, just to get some ratings and make some money. It's disrespectful. I come from that era. It's highly disrespectful. I had that with my son because he is very human, very handsome. It's easy for him to just be humans. He gets it from his father. And yes, I have a sense of humor, but I never played with my mom and my daddy. Never. I had to use that voice. Never. No. Look. Ninja. Never. My mother used to try to loosen us up too sometimes. Like, go, come out. What you doing? What you doing? I'm like, okay, mom, okay, mom. All right, mom. She was one of those. If you got too quiet too long, she can sense and you get some seriousness in, she come and bump you. Come mess. I'm like, this little woman just gonna keep on messing. What, mom? What? What's wrong with you? What you thinking about? And I'd be like, no, mom, no, you thinking about something. You're too quiet. You're too quiet. I'm like, mom, I got other stuff on my mind. And I would be like, but that's as far as the joking went. And of course, as we got grown and had our children, me and my other sister and stuff, we would crack fun of her switching up some of her words. The basketball player, my nephew, was he played basketball in high school, and he was a fan of LeBron James. And so since my mother was such a prayer warrior, and she didn't mind anytime it was time to sit at the table and eat, she would say the grace, and she would sometimes myself up there would, but it would be mostly her, and she would call herself, because my nephew wanted them to win the playoffs so bad one time. And she just saw it on. He was just in the frenzy. He wanted to watch the game and everything. And we all just gathered around my table. And before you know it, she just went into prayer. And Lord, Jesus bless Laverne James to be able to win the playoffs. And I mean, we all just cracked up laughing across the table because she called LeBron Laverne. And had us going. I mean, we was falling out laughing. That's as close as the joking around with your mom we can get it. My mama looking around like, what's the name? Laverne and Shirley. I said, Mama, it's surely not Laverne and Shirley. And so I'm saying all this to say, good evening, Sister Candy. See, I told you I made it. And so I'm saying this to say that we got to honor our mothers. Happy Mother's Day to me is an ongoing journey that will never cease. Honoring your parents, period, will never cease. That's the proper order. And unfortunately, we're in a place and stage now in the words we see it. Some of y'all probably see it. You go on social media, men and women are picking each other apart that have children. But yet you're yearning and crying, saying that we come from better than this, or I come from this and that, or my mom and dad didn't do that. Well, then do what they did. Then that means we have to do what they did to get the results that they got from us. Because look at us now. You all are tuning in to me on a more positive note. I'm not watching soap operas. You're not out going and doing anything else. You're tuning in to positive talk, to spiritual talk, to honorary thing for you all. You're not out on the street drugging. You're not out trying to get you know what. And for anybody that's planning on doing it that may tune in later, then my prayers is that you would grow in strength from that and understand the importance of your role as a mother. And I don't say this from a place of any form of perfection on my part. I say it from a place that fully understands that we need to help encourage one another in these areas, because as we teach them, they're teaching us. And we did the same with our parents, whether we realized it or not. They just was in the area where they was told that they didn't have to discuss certain things with us. Well, we're in the area, and they surely didn't have a whole lot of options. So it's therapy and counseling and pastoring and all these options of getting help now, where now a child could be heard. But we are in that era where our children can literally take us to court and try to fight for a right for something. Or a child can pick up the phone and say, hey, Popo, My mama just slapped me in the mouth because I said something I wasn't supposed to say, and I want to press charges against her because she did such a, because she don't have the right to hit me. Well, I'ma say that for any that have had to experience it, if you're tuning in today, I do apologize on behalf of any of the other grown-ups that made a child think that could work. But once again, I don't come from that era. I come from the era that where if I have to get into one of my children, and I wasn't the one that I was never a mother that was quick to get at my children. I like to talk and communicate, as you all can imagine. I like to get into their heads and see what they're thinking and make sure they understand what I'm trying to show and tell them. I want to figure out my children's spirit. Where's your heart at? What part of you like your daddy? What part do I see that's like grandma? What part of I was one of those mothers where I just sat back and like, yeah, I know that's the sneaky one. She finna go try to get into that cookie jar and then she gonna run right smack into that wall when she realized that I see her sneaking. Yeah, she just like my daddy when he was little. I was one of those parents. And I still am. I studied my children. And so I'm saying that to say that if it was time now for me to have to chastise, and I know the time and the era that we were in, I tell them, and look, and you got options. Because I gave you several warnings. You know how we do, moms. Most of us do this. Because I gave you several chances. When I said what I said, I meant what I said, and this was to help save your life. And this was to keep things in order. But if I got to get at you, I'm getting at you. And I'm going to get at you good. Now, I ain't going to put you in the hospital, but I'm going to get you. And if you think about calling the popo or children family service, oh, baby, I've been there, but it wasn't for my children. It was somebody else. I say, here's the number right here. And let me tell you what they're going to do. And they ain't coming back to pick you up. Because I know you know better. I'm that mama. I will give you the number to dial. Dial it. Go ahead. But you ain't going that. I don't want to hear a phone call coming back, you crying and whining and talking about some, I'm sorry. I know I should have. See, that's how we do God. That's how we do God. Real talk. Now we can say real talk. So mothers, y'all stay encouraged is what I'm trying to say. Stand your ground. I'll never forget I had another parent. My daughter just got into the car. It was my baby girl. And she'd been here before. And she said something that I considered highly disrespectful. She didn't curse or anything. But it was so distracting where I had to pull the car over. And I said, girl, didn't I tell you to shut your mouth? I said, so I can focus on what I got to do. Because I already got to make sure that from when she came that the spirit is right. I already got to make sure that anybody done nothing that they weren't supposed to do to your head, to your hair. See, I'm that mama. Because my mama didn't allow no any and everybody to take us. And I didn't do it with my children either. But on this particular occasion, I knew they had been around other relatives or other relatives that was not a relative to me. And so I had to zoom in to what I'm hearing. Because when they get out of your sight, you know what that means. They're taking in something else from somebody. And so I heard that little sassiness come out. And I politely got out that thing and I told her little tail up. I sure did. I spanked that tail good. And before I know it, another parent come back and they thought they was going to call. And before I know it, I got a popo knocking at my door. Oh, we just checking on to see if the baby's all right. It was told that you had to get that one got knocked up real good. That resulted to one going straight to the hospital just to try to see, could they see that something was going on. This is the other parent. Mind you, this other parent was chastising chastising children too, but wanted to get on a high, as we call a high horse, because they couldn't control and try to make me not say what's right and what's wrong. So here I am, I'm finding myself in the middle and looking at a white woman judge in my face, asking me what happened. The courtroom is halfway filled. And I looked at that white woman and I said to her, I said, ma'am, I said, I done taken care of children all my little life. I said, and I said, way before I had this child. And I said, and this one is 11 going on 111. Oh, the whole courtroom just cracked up laughing. And I said, and where I was raised, that you spare the rod, you spoil the child. And I said, now she not going to get killed, and then no major damage or harm come to her. I said, but I'm not finna sit here before this court and tell you that I didn't chastise my child the way I knew that I have the right to chastise her. That woman looked her down, held her head, that judge held her head down and said, well, Mrs. Moore, I cannot say, Mrs. Hill Moore, I cannot say that I can condone you saying that you can strike your child for anything. But what I am going to say is please try not to. And this case is adjourned. I walked out that witch call and I said, she better hope that I don't get her again. That's the kind of mother you're talking to. I had no more problems, and it took some years before I had any more problems. It took about till I got about 15, 16. And that child did not forget that my mama ain't no joke. That I'm not standing down, not even to a judge. Now that's when I put on my attorney's hat. Try me here. You ain't seen the child wasn't busted up the way I could have busted it up. Because I done exhausted my everything for my children at that point. Everything. Like my mother, I come last. They came first. And so when you're that kind of mom, and you are that to other mothers' children, you don't have to question. At that point, you do. You got to know that you got favor from God himself to operate in the spirit of a loving mother, both that one they will not or cannot be compromised with. Because the moment you take down, and this is with all our relationships, because if you're a mom, you are a leader already. You are already made a leader. You are already made an authority figure. And I know we live in a society now where they teach us that we can't be that. With everything a question. Now you take a child to school and they try to tell you that they have the right to confuse your child and make them think that it's okay for them to, if they have a thought, if a little 3-4-year-old boy have a thought that he want to wear a dress, that it's okay for him to experiment with the dresses. Yeah, I said it. I said the Lord knew when to make me a mama. I was on the teacher's head over giving my children candy when they was not supposed to have. And I explained to them, this is what's going to happen if you give them this high fruit corn syrup that you give them. Now, what you can do is you can go find some organic, or you can give them a fruit or orange or apple. I will allow that. But just because I handed them over to you because their family member is head over this school, this is the only reason why I'm trusting you with my child, my children. Don't mean, and I wasn't mean about it. You all were mean about it. I was just for show about it. And I was in my 20s then. And I said, because when you bring them back from rewarding them with what you think is a reward and not a curse to me, meaning they're going to be up all night long, then I have to deal with that. So I don't load them up with candy and send them off to you as a preschooler or as a Head Start teacher. And so I don't expect for you to send them back loaded up with a bunch of candy and they running all around and acting like they got some mental problems. So that was my stand. and everybody knew it. So twice, a teacher tried to try me. They tried to try me. And I see my son running around there acting like he done lost his mind, like he was a Muppet off of Sesame Street. I said, what's wrong with you? What is going on? And he just couldn't sit down. I said, hold up, wait a minute. I said, did you get a piece of candy or something? Did they give you some candy or something? Because you're starting early here. You're starting early. You know, boys already got energy as it is, but I knew it was extra. I marched my little happy-go-lucky self on up there to that school, and I said, ma'am, I said, I know that my son has been given candy. She said, excuse, what? I said, I'm here to address the issue. I said, do not give him any. He doesn't need any help and no support for energy. I have a strict regimen that I have to abide by because I have a special needs child that already got a sleeping disorder, and it's a severe one. So I already can't get to sleep until 5 to 6 a.m. in the morning when it's time for her to go to sleep. Then to send her to school in a couple of hours. I don't need no help by no high fructose corn syrup from my son or from my other daughter. She said, oh, I'm so sorry. I understand. I said, I'll do you one better. I have snacks that you can give to all. I'll bring some once a week just to let you know that we in this together. But back to the village, y'all. Back to the village. You can do it. You can even do it even when you do have to be forced to have to put them kids into that system. Just gotta know how to talk. But I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't playing. I had my sisters that were school teachers, if you know what I mean. And they did. They loved me. I had no issues with my mothers. There were teachers, none whatsoever. They knew I just did not play about my children. The structure that needed to be had. Now, when they get grown and they get old, they're okay. There's nothing to do. They're going to have many other different influences. And moms, we have to be strong enough, strong heart enough. We got to be prayed up enough. We got to connect with other mothers that fully understand. That's not going to judge you, but that's going to try to help you, even if it's just an encouraging word. When the times come, we have to deal, just like I had shared with Sister Thompson that was on here. That's part of the village. No, we all are not living on the same block no more together for the most part. So we got the internet to do. We got phones to do it now. We got FaceTime to do it now. And so that's what I like to encourage our mothers to do on this Mother's Day. Yes, this was challenging because with my daughter transitioning, my firstborn transitioning at the end of the year, means that I had to carry over a whole year of the whole next year, which her transitioning in 22, it was still December of 22. So I'm technically in my 1.5 year, barely a half a year of her not being here. She taught me this strength. It wasn't just from my mom, because my mother, none of us had the condition that my daughter had. My auntie did. My auntie Sherry did. And my auntie Massey did. And they were very encouraging. But I didn't live close enough to them. And we didn't have FaceTime when I was going through and learning how to be a mother with my firstborn. And finding out after my third child, that she had a condition. That's when she got diagnosed with her epilepsy, and what her rare case of epilepsy, and then sleeping disorder when my fourth child was born. So because I had them so fast in between, there was no time for me to only focus on her. And so I encourage the women, y'all young women that might tune in, y'all got granddaughters and nieces, or just young women that you coaching and teaching and inspiring. And I encourage you all to always take a couple of year break in between. That way, if it's anything that you need to notice and pay attention to, which I noticed it right away, that wasn't the issue, because I charted my children coming from working as a rehabilitation specialist and then the nursing that I did. In order for me, I literally stopped right when I found out that I was pregnant with my firstborn daughter, Najee. I stopped right then and there that month because that's what her dad wanted me to do. I was willing to work through the whole process, but I had hurt my back. And so I could not continue on nursing. So all I knew to do was chart my child and didn't know that through me charting and writing down her intake, her outtake, treating her like she was my patient, that's how I was able to find out and notice within the first few months of her getting her shots that this is what caused part of the damage to my daughter. That's how I knew. I was doing my homework the whole time through while I was pregnant. And to the point to where I can see it in my son and my daughter that I was carrying through that process. They're the most passionate about her, very sensitive about her. Oh, mama, she this. Oh, mama, she that. Mama. And so, no, we don't miss that part. But I know I carried them in the midst of trying to get people to understand me and to get the doctors to. And so I have that second daughter is at this prestigious college now trying to help people in health and wellness because I birthed her into caring and asking questions and working with doctors and nurses trying to put two and two together. And so it's ironic 24 years later, that's what she's doing. But because I carried her in the midst of being concerned, in the midst of research, in the midst of, and so we got to know what we carry, women. We got to know what we carry, mothers. And so I would play the song. And pay attention to it. You can go back if it's not too traumatizing. You can go back to what you were doing, who was around you, what was taking place in the atmosphere. As Brother Jamil Muhammad would say, what was taking place? I just learned that that's how he assessed things when people would speak and say certain things to him. I just learned that in a class, and I was like, oh wow, that's how I think. What was going on in the atmosphere at that time? What were you doing when you birthed this child? Because then you'll know what's all in that child. Mothers and fathers. Because in the father is a mother. He couldn't be birthed without a woman, without a mother. And so with that being, and I know they got a term I call mom dad. So for the mom dads, even though it's a lot of criticism when you hear them say that the mom say that she the mom and the dad, even though she is one man. A lot of criticism when the woman say that she the mother and the father. But now it's a new term called mom dad, and you don't hear no criticism about that. Y'all, come on. We all have it in us because we've been birthed. All of us have been birthed by a mother. And a woman have her mother and her father in her. I know I do. I accept the womb and the man part. That's a balancing act, y'all. No, you can't teach them fully how to be a man, but you can teach that child and show them what a man's supposed to be. And it's not this jellyback stuff that I'm seeing today. It's not this coward stuff that I'm seeing today. It's not this huffing and puffing that I'm seeing today. That will cost us our children. Mothers. That will cost us our children. That's why I say to this day that I had to learn the hard way. And then this past 2 years, you don't let no in, and I don't care how a person seem on the outside and the surface. You don't let anybody, even when they're older, around your children. They have to have the love of God in them, and they have to have a very loving relationship with their mother in order to respect you as a mother fully, not just talking about it. But actually, you'll see that through how they treat your children. I can tell you some things right now that I had experienced, but I'm not here. I'm not doing this podcast to have any of you mothers crying. But I know if I said it, you all would be like, oh my God, I know she's not lying. I didn't even get a chance to mourn, for those of y'all that were wondering, for the first year Technically, that first seven months after my daughter passed, I didn't get a chance to mourn her properly at all. At all. Because unbeknownst to me, another mother, after having her multiple children, her middle child that was in my life had not gotten all of that attention that they wanted. Did I say that right? Y'all correct me. Did I say that right? Sister Dorothy, Sister Jamaica, did I say that right? Did I say that right so I can stay on track? So I was expected to get over the passing of my daughter within the next day. I was expected to change out her room that week. And think nothing of it. I was expected to work, not vacation, through the whole process. And then only vacation when they wanted to. Because after all, I'm strong, right? I'm not a mother. I'm not human. I'm just supposed to be, I don't know, a robot. And this is where the mother kicked in. My mother, I heard the voice of my mother, my praying mother, and my grandmother say to me, you can't make a person care. One thing you can't do is make a person care. You can't make a person love. And even though I've received some apologies since then, we all know with things like that, an apology don't fix that. An apology doesn't fix a wounded heart, a broken heart, especially when you realize that they're layering things on top of a mother that's lost her child. You're just constantly finding out this every week something negative, something demonic. All in the name of Jesus, Yahshua HaMashiach. So it's a miracle is what I'm saying. It's because of this woman and God. It's because of this mother and her mother that I'm able to be before you all on this day, honoring and saying, stay strong, don't give up. Let's keep encouraging one another's mothers, even after beyond this point. I know I wouldn't have had the strength to go through that if I hadn't seen the strength in my mother. I seen her go through some things as a first lady. We talked all the time. My mother, I loved her so dearly. She was the type that because she knew the counseling and things that I did, she wasn't too prideful to ask me, well, Felicia, what you think about this? What you think about this situation? Do you feel like this is right? This is good? And I was like, okay, mama, let's go back to the scripture because we're dealing with spirituality at this point. Y'all mothers, be careful with these spiritual people. Be careful. They can only be spiritual when it comes down to dictating something to you, but they won't apply it to their life. Not really, not behind closed doors. Be careful, mothers, and I pray for all the mothers that have to care and have to be the one to provide, and also being helpmeets to your husbands and your community. That you all always be able to have a spirit of discernment. If I could pray one prayer for all the mothers, that is what I would pray for you all. If I could give it to you before you have to go through the test. And I know a lot of you already have. Sister Candy, I think I remember it was you that lost the child. I believe my heart go out to you because I remember you sharing that with me. Brought tears to my eyes during that time. It was because of you all and the strength and the help I had through God. And my praying other mothers, my auntie Bernice, my auntie Sherry, my aunties, all my different aunties, and then the ones that God sent me to be an encouragement. My godmother, it was all of you all that helped give me strength. Other pastors and leaders, I had to call out. I was forced to have to share it just on today, earlier today, because I was asked, how am I doing? I've been asked this several times from my brothers and my sisters. They said, how are you doing? And I said, I feel like I'm in my first year of finally trying to accept that my firstborn is not here. Because 23 was robbed from me. Even though I started coming before you all in March. It was robbed. I was robbed of that. And so all I could do was get into a place to where I could ask God. And then, but at the end of this year, I still had to go through a test just to present what I could for the anniversary of her passing. But I had to go through a couple of months of constant trickery and constant demonic force and activity just to get that out. And that's why I'm still here at home, being a mother to other mothers' children. That's why I chose to stay here and continue the work that he began in me before I became a mother. Because now at this point, my eyes are wide open. There ain't no room for me to deceive myself. And mothers, don't do that to yourself. Just because things are not going okay at home, it may not be going okay in your marriage and relationships, whatever it may be, always find time, because I can tell you this one thing, the one thing that helped me as a mother to deal with the loss of my child and then the separation of the other children was the fact that I was on my knees praying throughout that time. I was praying. Moms, we have to pray when we see things affecting our children. We have to pray just to make it today. Remember, MC Hammer used to have, you got to pray just to make it today. He got to pray. I had to pray, and I had to pray in my dialect just to get strength, y'all. Father, you see this? What in the world did I get myself? Listen to what I said. I took accountability for my own. When your child act up and you know it's something that you failed to tell them, or you know it's something that you let them buy with too many times, now it's time you say, you know what? Y'all know all the moms say, see, I knew I shouldn't have never let you buy the first time. Because I know because I done told you 3-4 times now. But see, because you want to act like you ain't got no sense. Now you got to get a punishment. Now go on over there and wash them dishes. Go on, get in that corner. Go on, get that time out. Or go come on over here and get this whooping. Whichever one is befitting. That's what I had to go back into spiritually. And all I could hear him say is that, okay, you're going to make it through this. But in order not to have to go through it again, you got to make sure that you listen to my voice and nobody else's voice. And I had to be tried after that. After losing my daughter, the same test came back around, y'all. It came back around. And I almost failed it. Mamas, I almost failed it. Because I had connected my soul. I was in the midst of a what they call familiar spirit. I was dealing with a familiar spirit, somewhat likened it to a soul tie. And those are not easy to get out of, you all. Some of you have already done experienced it. I know you have. Thank you. Thank you. Those are not easy to get rid of, especially when it comes from a very cunning and conniving place where people are good with their words. Especially when it comes with, I did not know, I've learned, I've seen it, And I dealt with it in my younger years, but I didn't think that I would see it again in my 40s. I didn't think that I would see it again. That was my downfall. I didn't think that I would have to deal with that again as a mother. As a mother. Now all my work that has been done. I didn't think that there was energy, spirits that would actually try to still attack after all the work that I put into, and especially after loving on another mother's child and children. I didn't think I would be played with, or any ill intent would be done. And then when you love on somebody else's mother that in first did not know you because of lies that had been told, but even gathered the love of another mother through that. Till that relationship was beautiful. But then realized that once again, because of that mother didn't realize that this child that they birthed, even though they had gifts, this child was still feeling abandoned. This child themselves had never dealt with the death of their parent. This child never really felt like they could mount up or dealt with jealousy from you love the other children more than me. You love the oldest more than me, and you love the youngest more than me. This child was worn in the spirit even with all of their talents, even though they could gather people together to listen to them. This mother, I'm going to tell you how I broke free as a mom. This mother was humble enough, strong enough, and insightful enough now in their old age to sit and tell me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I failed. You're a beautiful woman. You're a beautiful daughter in love. And I'm sorry. I know and I see and I know whence come this spirit that's in my child that has come to try to destroy you because of what they couldn't get from out of me. Do you know how deep that is? But see, I'm a strong believer that through the power of prayer that was given to me, because I begged, I cried, I pleaded with God. I said, if you ever want to show yourself to me and show me that you care something about what was poured into me from my mother's prayers and from my mother's prayers, Father, give me the answers to this. Is this all my fault? Because I care? Because I was able to be pulled in? Is this all my fault? Because y'all know we good for taking on this burden as mothers. We good for it. And that was my answer. And I said, okay. And then I continued to hear from other mothers. God is making a way of an escape for you, daughter. Take it. This is not righteous, what you have had to endure. You did not deserve that. All for the sake of social media. All for the sake of attention. All for the sake of hurt and pain. All for the sake of, don't believe the hype, y'all. All for the sake of money. So as a mother, it was my turn to make another hard decision. And that was just to let it go and start all over again. Let it go. Because I wasn't the only mother that was hurt in the midst of this. There was other mothers that had been hurt prior to in the same manner. I found out through the process. And thankfully, that mother reached out to me and said that, thank you, but that's your mess now. Thank you, but you got to deal with that now. I done had enough of that test. And women, don't we know? Mamas, don't we know? It's just like with the children. When if you're a daycare provider, and yeah, like share. How many you ever had to take on somebody else's child and somebody said, girl, I can't do nothing with that child, honey. You can, if they listen to you, then go right ahead, spank them, do whatever you got to do. But they're a handful for me. When I heard the other mother say that had to deal with this man's child, did I call it right? I said, oh, because they had years in. I said, oh, I see clear now. So no, I wasn't cocky about it the way I was for sure about chastising my child. I wasn't strong-headed about it the way I was for standing up against them doctors for thinking that they gonna sit there and constantly inject my child with poison. This is a different kind of stand. I had to understand and understand and overstand as a mother that you can't correct what another mother did not correct in their man child. You got your own man child that you got to raise and finish teaching them. You ain't got space and room to do it with another one, especially if they say they want to be head and covering over you and your children. Mothers, it is our responsibility. It always has been. If woman represents wisdom, and I believe that we do, even though some of us get it at different stages and different levels, then it is up to us, unfortunately, these day and ages, to be the backbone. After all, we are the ones that's left with the children anyway, right? Not every woman, not every mother is crazy. And I like it the way a minister says that if it is, and you best believe that she's been driven crazy by you know what, another, you know who. Because who ordained putting psych drugs out here? Who took away our laws and our rights to chastise our children? Who told us that they have to be put into the school system? Even if that system is not working out well for your child and they are a pipeline to prison. Who made that law? It sure wasn't no women that made that law. We were some of the first teachers, but we're not the ones who made the laws. Yes, more of us are becoming lawyers, but we are not the lawmaker. I know I got a first cousin. I just posted her up on my Facebook page. I have a first cousin that's a lawyer. Congratulations to Mariah Hill McCoy. See, my first cousin, they took on them torches. Her sister's a physical therapist, and she's she's an attorney. And I'm like, you go, girl, you go, girl. And they both did not long got married. And I pray much success, and they're doing a great work in their healing ministry. They laid out the land and got it all up and going because they had husbands. They had a good father and that respected their mother. And so now they're able to build a strong foundation. They brought tears to my eyes because they're younger than me. But thank God for my mother having a good heart and love for her family. So she transferred that over to me. They got my grandmother here that they transferred it over to me. I may even have a dose more. And so I'm happy. Gone, bad girl. So when her baby, when they birth children, you can only imagine. Oh, trust me, her husband ain't gonna play with her. Neither one of them. They're thankful. They're on a mission and a journey together. But more importantly, they respect them as women. They respect that they're going to be the mother of their children. They respect their mom and they respect their mother, the mother of their wife. That's the way it's supposed to be. When you see where that foundation is broken and where a trail of men have broken the mothers, you're going to find broken children. You're going to find broken children. And where there is a hurt mother, you're going to find hurt children. Because we are the ones who teach the children, remember? So you make it sound all glamorous when we teaching them. Everybody love it when you're able to be the babysitter. Everybody love it when we're able to be the teacher. Everybody love it because we can trust them, send them to grandma, send them to TT. Everybody love that part. But then when the mother is disrespected and she doesn't have the proper help that she needs, even if she's so hurt and she's so broken and she needs for an auntie or a sister or a friend to kick in and take those children while she gets herself together. No, don't nobody want to understand that part. You had them babies, you need to, as a counselor and working in the ministry, I understand different now, even though I've never had to give my children away to anyone. Not saying I didn't never think about sending them to their dad. But because I knew their health was more important, I had to keep my own children. And that's what drew more children to me. So my children would bring their friends. And that's what brought my stepsons that I had. All the children would come to me. And I see it, and while I'm working out here in the community, the young people, they just gravitate because they know mamas. They know mothers. They know the love of another mother. And I'm not that mother that want to take the glory of another mother. Even what I had to do, even with my stepsons, when they would say what their mother couldn't do and what you pray for your mom. That's what I would tell them. You pray for your mom. You pray. You ask this way and maybe she will do this. We wouldn't sit down and have a fest and going back and forth about what I do better than what your mom do. Nah. No. It was obvious that I'm more mature. So certain things and I'm more experienced that I would know that your mom, being a younger woman, would not know. But it was up to me to make sure that I, as a mother, that's been a mother for 20-some years, and that mothered my own nephews and nieces before I had my own, to be mature enough mother to know how to plant that proper seed in those children. And I saw that from my mother. My mother loved all my other siblings that my father had. They see her like a mother. She didn't treat anybody different. Of course, she had to take care of us more because we had her children at home. But they was just as happy. She was just as happy to see them and fed them just the same. See how they go, y'all? So when I say Happy Mother's Day, I mean Happy Mother's Day to the mothers, to the mothers that's learning how to be mothers, the mothers that want to be mothers, and the mothers that know how to be another mother to another mother's child. Did I say that right? Did you get that mother, a sister, brother from another mother? So I pray, is this helpful at all? Any y'all? I see some tuned in. Is it helpful? Is it helpful? Is there anything else that you all want? And I do recommend that for those of y'all that can't really go out, you may be low on funds. If you're low on funds, and you just want to think of simple things, you know what's simple. I know some of you all have heard it. Get that. Tell them, mama, what you want, or if they can't get it, I need some me time. Give me some me time. Get your me time. Because what they children don't understand until they become parents is that your children are never off your mind when you are a mother that care. Never. They're always, no matter what you're doing, you could be eating and you're still thinking about that child, especially that troubled one. You could be getting an award for doing something great and you're still thinking about your child. Or am I just talking to myself? Am I just talking about myself? I think about my children every day, all throughout the day. I think about other mothers' children every day, all throughout the day. Somebody just asked me, do you miss your sons? I said, absolutely. I said, but I know in due time and season, I will get a chance to see them. I know that I will. My firstborn son, I know I have to wait a little bit to see him. He knows my heart. He carries my heart. And it's not just because he's a firstborn son, it's because he helps out people the way I do. And so I see a lot of me in my firstborn son. My nephews, the same. They want to take me and my sister out for Mother's Day. I think about them every day. This is my firstborn nephew. So that's the one that y'all see in the back. That's Jeremy. And y'all, excuses of earrings, but he was an MPV for football and everything. And he did his little, but he's the one that made me the first experience of being a mama. Very popular in school and all. He was just the outstanding young man. And he was likened to like a first son for my mother to raise as well. And he called me for everything. I helped him get his first job, get his first bank account. And I was like, oh, Father, bless and keep him. Because when my mother left, he just turned into it just took life out of him. My mama was a mama's mama. I explained that to y'all. Some of y'all are that, and some of y'all may have experienced that, so you know what I'm talking about. And so I say thank you all so much for donation. Those who want to send donations, I appreciate that. Shalom, Dr.Chef, blessing and enjoy your children and family this weekend. This is encouraging and a blessing. Yes, thank you so much. That's what I wanted to do. I knew I had to, because I know my mother, if she was still alive, she would be doing the same thing. She started to get her little channel on and up and going. And she would just pray and give a word of encouragement one of these days soon. This would have been a good time to share it. Hold on, let me see. But this is a song that I wanted to play that I used to play for my daughter. Somebody said, how do I send monetary donation? Oh, okay, Cash App. I told you I'd be forgetting all about the Cash App, y'all. Somebody just text me. I do. I get on here and I'm just led by the Spirit just to speak to you all. And yes, they do help out tremendous. It does help with me being able to give back and to help with the products. I'm putting in here, Dr.Felicia, and did I do that right? Oh, FN. I be forgetting sometimes. Okay, I put it in the chat, sister. I put it in the chat. Can you see it? Thank you. Thank you all so much. And so I'm saying it, so I'm obligated. This is all I'm saying. I'm obligated. No, you all. I didn't get a chance to do my hair. This is my hair. This is all mine. I didn't get a chance to do it. I'm looking wacky on Mother's Day. I got to meet up with my daughter and get something done to it. I just cut them split ends. So y'all forgive me for coming through y'all looking like Munchie Chi. I can do karate. But I didn't have the time. I really didn't have the time to get it. It's a whole head full of hair, y'all. They didn't stress me out yet enough to enough to not have it. But yes, and so I'm saying all that to say, you all be encouraged on this Mother Day. There's a song that I had that I wanted to pull up to that was dedicated to my daughter Najee that passed, and I used to sing it to her when she was a baby, and then to my other girls too. And the reason why I say girls and not my sons because it's a song by Yolanda Adams. Some of y'all might have heard it, but I wanted to just take a little glimpse for this, especially for those of y'all. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Jacqueline, for the sisters, the mothers. Well, you all mothers, cause so your daughters, so you all can still. If you didn't get it from your mom, now you can get it from me. I'm a mom. So just listen to this. Y'all know that song? This is my first song that I dedicated to my daughter. My God, I'm so excited. It's time to look for baby shoes. Yes. Everyone says I'm glowing from a heart filled with joy. Too soon to be showing. This is all the daughters, y'all daughters. Girl, is it a boy? I found out you're my darling girl. Do you know you changed my world? You're my little doll, so sweet. You nearly knocked me off my feet. You're my little darling child. Seeing you makes me smile. God bless the day He sent my little angel to me. Mm-hmm. Here's my favorite picture when you were 10 minutes old, and we were right there with you to wrap you up and keep you warm. And now that you're a little older, I see a personality every time that I hold you. I'm sure you'll know much more than me, 'cause you're my little darling girl. Don't you know you changed my world? You're my little doll, so sweet. You nearly knocked me off my feet. You're my little darling child. Seeing you makes me smile. God bless the day He sent my little angel to me. And you were perfect from the first day. They're getting tired of hearing me say, I'm not ashamed to stand up and tell the world that you're my baby girl. Hanging tight with your mama, traveling round the globe, telling folks about Jesus and how He came to save their souls. Obviously, what's important, yeah, gotta keep teaching you. Gotta be your example that shows His life in all I do. You're my darling girl. Don't you know you changed my world? You're my little doll, so sweet. You nearly knocked me off my feet. You're my little darling child. You know I love to see you smile. For any of your mothers that would like to see this, which album this is, this the one where she had the blue dress on for Yolanda Adams. And it's called Darling Girl. You gonna say something? Huh? Come on, say something. No? Yeah. Okay. Now that was the first song that I dedicated to my firstborn daughter, Najee Angelise Moore. And yes, I get a little teared up because it took me back to my first time becoming a mother. And I felt that way about my child. And I believe that my mother did a beautiful job on my time, even though I was the oldest. And I shared this before. I was a lot of responsibilities I felt like at the time. But looking back and then becoming a mother myself, I realized that it was fair and it was just in a lot of ways. And it was just building strength and character in me. And it was preparing me to become a mother. And I just started to thinking. I'm thankful that those of y'all that still have your mother in the land of living, uh, thank her. Thank her if you haven't today. After Mother's Day, continue to thank her because I look back on those times and I said, man, I'm so thankful that I got a chance to tell my mom that I appreciate her, that I really appreciate her. And if you didn't get a chance to tell your mom that, then you can still pray that into the atmosphere. Give it to another mother. Like those of y'all that's tuning in, you all give it to other mothers, I can tell. But you just never know how that would impact another mother that may not be doing it for another mother. And so I find strength in that. And now my mother would tell me all the time that I was her dear child. And she wasn't, I'm the oldest, so I know her children. I had to laugh y'all down because I had a real quick flash of some of the things that some of the other siblings that took her through. So, oh, Jamaican, are you meaning to call me? Let me see. Sister Jamaican, do you want to be on live? Did you mean to call? Hi.
Oh, it's fine.
Go ahead, tune in. I got you.
I wanted to, first of all, happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
She said happy Mother's Day. Can you all hear Sister Jamaica?
I also wanted to say that I corrected you for your Cash App.
Oh, did you?
In the chat.
Thank you. I was probably so choked up. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Oh, thank you. You're a blessing. Thank you. Because I needed that. Let me see. How did I do it? What did I mess up? I sure did. I saw that chef in there.
It's okay.
Thank you. So, go ahead.
I know between all of the sisters on live right now are choked up because I was in tears before you even started crying. And when I looked up again and seen you, I said, oh, I just lost it.
Oh, sorry.
It's beautiful. That song is a beautiful memory towards your daughter. Yes.
No, and I want that for us because I believe that song came out at the time that my daughter was born. But I believe that we as mothers need to hear that didn't get it because our mothers had gone through things that we just could not understand. And so I want that to be dedicated because I know my child, Najee, was the type that she always, when we took her out in public and let her dress, she would always grab the hand of a caregiver or a teacher or a mother. And they would say, it's okay. I got a niece that's like that. Or it's okay. I'm a social worker. She always knew the mothers. And I was like, how do you always know to grab it? And she would just smile at them. She wouldn't do it. She would just smile. I said, how do you always know? And so I want to dedicate that song that I first had when I birthed her to you all too as mothers, because you all are little girls too. Look, we all have that girl in us still, and we remember what it was when we needed to feel that nurturing spirit come about us. And this is something that I do want to implement every month that we recommend. And I shared this with one of my elder mothers. I think she's 82 now. Beautiful spirit. And I said, what do you think about us having Women's Day and honoring women every month? Every month, because we got it in sections with sororities and the church groups and all these other, but I just mean in general. Whatever your milestone was, I made it through this week, and I didn't cuss nobody out. And celebrate that,
Yes.
because there's so much negativity that's out here today centered around it, and I feel extra obligated to, because I know also often when us women go through changes, mothers, when we go through shifting changes, whether it be divorce and relationships and all that, we
Yes.
look to throw the pity party and only focus on how you gotta get back up on your feet, but we don't celebrate the milestones or the day by day tasks that we decided to wake up in the morning and still take care of our children, or
That's it.
still help another mother with theirs, in some type of way. And so that's
Yes.
what I want to be victorious in, not just in health and wellness of teaching how to eat fruits and vegetables, but y'all
Mm-hmm.
hear me all the time talk about that mind, because when that mind is not right, when the heart is hurting and aching, oh, we ain't worried about eating healthy all day. Most of us are not worried about eating fruits and vegetables. We want what comforts our flesh in that
Mm-hmm.
moment. And so I appreciate you, because you all inspire me, knowing that you all are still in the grind with it. And that's where I'm like, I want to find that space, that place, to where not just coming from me, but you all do it amongst each other, because that's the type of village and women that I was raised under, and they're still coming and call from time to time when they can. It's like a spiritual thing. They could sense when I'm really, really getting heavy, and when I'm really feeling like, oh well, maybe I shouldn't keep doing this. Maybe I need to do something else. And they
Yes.
said, no, daughter, we just called and tell you that you're doing a good job, that you keep pressing, keep this, keep that. And so that's why I give special shout outs to you all, and happy Mother's Day go for every day, not
That's
just
it.
for this season. But go ahead, share, do
That's
share.
it.
Is
That's
anything else
it.
that you'd like to say?
No, it's just, it's so true, and it's so much. Everything that you stated, I mean, I agree with it, and everyone else that was in the chat as well. It's so much of a task.
It is.
I deal with it on a daily with my twin sons that
Mm-hmm.
are, they have a disability, they're nonverbal, they have so many health issues, from cerebral palsy, which didn't come until 2021. A lot of things happened directly after 2020 that oh,
Yeah, that just
it's like a decline almost, and it's tough. And
yes,
as you were saying, being at home, I'm home.
right. Mm-hmm.
It's a sacrifice, it's a choice. I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to do it for whatever period of time I can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, it's a struggle, but
Mm-hmm.
we keep a lot of laughter in the home. If you got to laugh to keep from crying on some issues, some days
Yes.
are better than others. Some weeks are better than others.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter came home. She says hello, and she says, "Oh my God, you guys look like twins," because my hair is the same style. The only thing is, I like it on the side, so my part is not in the middle.
See, and I want to, that's how you know I didn't try to do this. I wasn't trying to look like that one guy on the black and white shows where he's the part that's out in the middle. I forget his name when it wasn't no sound. I forget his name. He's an actor, white guy. And he's, I think he was mixed breed too, where he had a little mixture going on there. But his hair used to be
Yeah.
part. Yeah, I was just trying to take this stuff down and get to my daughter so I could redo everything, but I ran out of time. So I'm gonna have it back up. But no, but I tell your daughter I said happy Mother's Day to her too, because that's Ninja Kid mom, right?
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. And not look, thank you so much for working with your mom. That is such a beautiful thing, because that's what I mean. My mother probably never knew, or maybe she did. She's probably saw what I see in mine. Um, just how much of you, seeing you, Sister Jamaica, do what you're doing is giving her strength as a mother, even though your task is so much more. Um, You never know what's coming down the road or who she may have to help. Your daughter may have to
Yes.
help and say, you know what, I watched my mom go through this. So here, let me give you an encouragement words, or let me help you with this or that. And this is how we recycle that love, that strength, that endurance.
It
In the
already happens.
is that
It's happening now
see?
that certain disabilities are coming out more,
Yes.
and I'm meeting people, and I'm like, wow, you know, what I have to say is of much help to them, and it's things that like I wish I would have, you know, had someone to tell me these things. So
Yes.
like you said, recycling that wisdom and seeing what my mom has, you know, gone through and still going through, it gives me a lot of strength. I feel
Yes.
very confident in that.
Yes, 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 and that right there is what I mean by we're carrying the torch for our mothers and mothers' mother, whether they be alive or not. We are carrying that torch no matter what. But most definitely, I say the best thing you all could do is do what you're doing now. Always work together when you can. My mother did the same with me when things would come up with different ones in the family. You know, she would always call me to make sense out of some stuff. Felicia, can you just call your sister and talk to them. She had confidence, and so one time I did. I got so overwhelmed with having a special needs child, and then the rest of the children, and then their father had issues as well too, health issues. Finally, I got to a place where I said, "Mom, this is a lot." I said, Mom said, she said, "I'm only calling you because I know that you're strong enough to do it. I know God placed the wisdom in you to do it. I'm not able to be there because she was out of town at the time. So I'm not able to be right there. So I need for you to bridge the gap for me." And I knew that took a lot out of my mother, because my mother she never said that to me before, never. And I said, "Oh, okay, I understand." And so I know now. I didn't know it then. That was over 10 years ago. That I would have to do the same with one of my daughters and say, "I need for you to trust me in this place right here, because I got this work to do, but I need for you to stay strong and stay steadfast and trust the process that God is going to show up and show out in our life. I just need to be able to concentrate on getting this work done. And when I do, you're going to be blessed and you're going to learn, and it's going to strengthen your relationship with God. It's going to help you to get to that next level when it's your turn." And he said, "Okay." I said, "Okay." I said, "Okay." But I learned that from my mother, and I've watched it in other mothers. And I'm telling you now, I mean, we cannot. This is people ask me all the time, "Why are you so strong? How you this? How you do that?" And I said, I had other mothers around me. I still have them to this day. If there's no church that I ever attended, no organization that I ever been a part of, that I can't go right back to them, and they are there with open arms, just big hugs. He said, "Oh, I see you on TV. Oh, I know. I'm so happy for you." And they just hold my face. "You okay?" I mean, like I'm 4 years old. "Oh, are you okay?" And I said, "Wow." And they just, that alone gives strength, because I know they're saying it out of love. They I know that they've been praying for me. I know they're saying, "Keep going." And a lot of times that's all we need. Sometimes we need more. Of course, us with mothers that have special needs children need more encouragement and more help. But still, hearing that there's power in those words of encouragement, there's an energy, a level of strength that comes from those type of powerful words, that you're doing a great work, you're doing good. I love seeing how dedicated you are to your children. I love, it's a beautiful thing to see you take care of yourself, and you don't look like what you are going through. And you don't look like what you're going through, Sister Jamaica. I saw that, so let me throw that out there for you. My God. Y'all don't go to sleep on Sister Jamaica and Sister Dorothy. Oh my God. Sister Dorothy is the brick house too now. Come on.
Okay.
I said, look at y'all. I said, God, look, he doesn't really doesn't attract the summer. Sister Candy ain't short stopping. I see Sister Jacqueline, and I don't mean just y'all physique and how the I'm like, no, I mean I can see that y'all persevered with beauty and grace. That so many don't get how challenging that is. They don't get how challenging that is.
My mom, I learned from the best with that, because I get told that all the time. Even being young still, I'm only 30, but I've been through so many things, and I get told all the time that, and I'm like, I must get it from my mother, because I don't know either. Like, I couldn't tell you. I tried to eat a lot of fruit and vegetables and drink my water and mind my business. Like,
that's
you
it.
know?
That's the start. That's the foundation. That's the foundation. How to strengthen the energy to deal with all this stuff.
Start with the basics.
You gotta start with the basics. That's why I tell people, you gotta start with the basics, because
and sometimes too much. But sometimes it's okay to keep it simple. I'm learning that too. I don't have to always just be constantly done up. That costs so much. It's so expensive to keep up with that image. So I'm learning the beauty in keeping it simple and really keeping it natural as possible, and taking care of what I have, so I don't, you know.
Yes,
and it's coming back too.
I've taught my daughters
and everything else.
Yeah, I taught my daughters that at a very young age, and I'm thankful. Now they can get bougie when they want to be, but for the most part, I don't hear no whining like I did in their early teens about what all they want. I showed them. I said, "No, baby, this is how you do this." Yes. I don't care if you go into the Goodwill and finding something, or a retail shop. You clean that stuff up. You put together what fits and what looks good on you. And I tell them, even for the hair, I say, it's your hair. You ever don't let nobody say, I said, did I not put y'all between my legs and do y'all hair all day? I said, did y'all ever look like y'all didn't have the same expensive hairstyle that somebody else had? So I taught my girls to just adorn themselves in the more simplest way. And sometimes, they get a little influenced by the little sassiness that's going on out here sometimes. I'm not going to lie, because they weren't raised like me with having all the dresses on every day. And your collar, your shirt got to be up here, up to your neck, suffocating. They weren't.
Right.
But I still see myself going right after, like my mom, like, here, hold on now, let me pull that little cleavage part there. Let me help let me help you out here. But I'm saying that to say, yes, I've taught them that simplicity is what's elegant and what's good, and knowing how to do for self. Where if every Chinese shop closed down, y'all better learn how to appreciate your hair. So you see what my fro is? My daughter's froze is out there. They hair. I'm gonna probably try to showcase the other one, but their hair is out there. That's how long. Because I told her, because she didn't want another family member every time they would visit on every other weekend to do her hair, because her hair was starting to fall out because they were using other products in their hair that I recommend them not to. Well, her hair started to fall out. And it didn't get super short, but it was enough for us to notice that it wasn't down her back anymore. And rest assured, when I told her, no, this is how you do this, we're going to braid that hair back, and we're going to put it in the nice braid, and we're going to say, no, I'm good. My mama braid my hair, I'm good. Well, she practiced that as she got older. And when she moved out and got her own place, now her hair is halfway down her back, like it was when she was a little girl, when I was caring for it. And so I said, and to this day, now if I have to put cornrows in her hair, she do sometimes. She'll still call me at 24, going on 24. She'll still call, Mama, can you braid my hair back? And I'm like, oh, Jesus, this is a chore. I feel like I might get carpal tunnel trying to do that, because you got to braid it all the way down your back like that. Saying all this, it's just a simple to support you in that. Yes, it's the simple things that we can teach each other that could take a lot of stress. So to this day, she will not, even though now if she went to the beautician, it's going to cost her $200 to $300 to get certain styles done, because the length of her hair. And the same for my baby girl. And I told him, no, you go, ain't no wrong with getting your hair washed. Get look up. If you want a flat iron, then flat iron. None of them have perms. And the same for my
No,
nieces. My nieces the
exactly.
same way too. Her down their back, nobody got perms. Nobody got. They're simple. And they love. When I see my nieces, they're 19, they're 18 and
Yeah.
22. They just come and just jump on me. Oh, yeah, auntie. And I was like, look at you. I teach them compliment because they built up like me too. They not built up like their mama. Charlotte is hippie. Where's she at? Where's Charlotte in there somewhere? She hippie. My sister-in-law, she heavy now. Now she swang a lang like it. That's it. And she thick with it. She thick with it. And so they take out the slim like me, and they like, oh, they like you. They built up like you. Them your girls. I said, I know. I said that's all good, and that's why I got them. But I'm saying that to say that I'm happy and proud of them because they all getting a little education. They're all working. They're all natural. They're all beautiful young women, and I don't have to worry about the fact that even though they weren't raised underneath the church like we was, where they still go to church, but and they believe in God, but they still have that integrity. You can tell that they learned from us how to be young ladies, how to look like a young lady. And I know that's a major big thing for this era, especially that 30 and under. And I know you see it. Oh God.
Oh yes, it's hard sometimes not to get sucked into it. I tell my mom all the time. I'm like, oh, I just mess with her sometimes. I'm like, oh, maybe if I just get a little something done, it won't be. And she'll look at me like, girl, you better not. I'm like, I'm just messing with you, but it's so much in our faces from the lashes every day on down to the nails every day on down to it. It's too much.
It takes the mothers of the village. It takes us. It takes our area. And then nothing wrong with getting done. And I do. I am one. I pick up my girls about them long lashes. Yes, I do. They wear lashes too. Yes, they do. And I really get at my second oldest because her lashes are so long. You think her natural lashes is so long like her hair. You don't think that she got on fake lashes. So I said, so what you need the butterflies for? That's why I asked. I said, what you need the butterflies for?
We just like the extra.
Is that what it is? Well, extra, I read all about it. I said, I'll be glad when the season goes. And did y'all not realize that them lashes is taking it? See, this is mama talk, y'all. This mama talk. Everybody tune in. This mama talk. Did y'all not realize that them lashes went from $1 to $2, $3 to now $20 for the same lashes?
Right.
And they not getting on. And then they subtitle up how much we give them Chinese folks. We give them up to $1 billion a year. Come on now.
I remember when I stopped buying weaves and stuff like that, and now I just do braids or leave my natural hair out. I've gotten, and that took a lot for me because I definitely grew up in that where natural hair wasn't, a big thing, but I love it now, and I love to see it coming back because that hair is expensive. The install with the you spending
my girls try to get
me money on your hair.
That look, they told me they tried to get me sucked into it because one of their aunties was doing it. And then unfortunately they had their papa down and tried to, well, why don't y'all get your hair straight? I said, you know what? I told him, I said, look, I'm old school. I told him, I said, I'm not finna make no hair, no bill, and you got hair on top of your head. I said, I did not sweat and boy and stay up all times of the night and in the morning hours getting carpal tunnel just for y'all to turn around and say that you want to spend $200-$300 on a bundle of hair. I say, and if you get it and you get it as a birthday gift, I told him, I said, then you better learn how to wash it and keep it up. If it's human hair, you better learn how to wash it and keep it up because I'm not finna make that a bill. And I stood my ground on that. Yes, I did. I wasn't playing with them. Look, they got some braids. Sometimes when they want, I would do the little box braids on their head. I do that because they can keep it up good and your hair can grow. I did that. Yes, I did. And I do that. And I've done it on my own head. But I'm not going to make that a month in my bill. I can't. And I had the money to do it. And I wasn't going to do it.
And still won't do it.
Still won't do it. It's not wise. And then I tried, and then as I kept doing this, and I started doing more and more research on how they're not caring for the hair and where it's coming from and the spirits.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God. And that's why I had to start paying attention. Remember, I told you early on, if you didn't see it early on, I said I watched and I studied my children. So I started noticing. Now, you know, we as women, we get a little bougie when we get our hair done. We feel good, feel confident, feeling better when you get a hairstyle on your head. That's really nice.
Yes.
But the extra attitude that was coming out that I noticed, I said, wait a minute, this something is off here. And then that's when I started coming across the articles that was showing that they doing seances on that hair, and they practicing all different type of demonic activity, and they robbing the women of their hair in
Did you see
parts.
The movie? There's a movie on Netflix. Yes. I forgot what it's called. It's called, let me look it up really quick. It's something, it's Bad Hair. It's called Bad Hair.
You know what?
And it pretty much goes into the spiritual aspect of the hair that we're wearing on our heads.
I've been trying to get to that movie. If y'all can put it in there, put it in there. I've been trying to get to that movie, but no, I did not. I had cut out Netflix.
Yes. It's called Bad Hair on Netflix.
I ain't gonna lie, I was being cheap. I didn't want to give Netflix my $20 no more because I thought I saw all the documentaries I need to see. But I'll pay a $20 to go ahead and get to pull that. But that's important because I watched this. Exactly. I have watched. I believe it's more true than not. I even seen it in my own children. I'm telling you, I saw it, and I was like, I literally saw morph into something else, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? I said,
that when I tell you the way that long straight hair parted down the middle had me in a chokehold, totally, you couldn't tell me that was my. And then I had to come like, wait a minute, girl, your hair's curly, boo. Stop playing with. Don't stop tricking yourself into believing this is your hair. This is not your hair.
And my daughter would do the same thing, and I would watch her come out, and she would wash her hair, and she said, "Ooh, no, I promise," because she don't know how to hold back to this baby girl. Ooh, I feel so bad, so much better, so relief, and she would have a natural hair out. She been having it for. I said, really?
Take all those tight tracks out.
You were just acting like some exorcist. I was like, what? I said, what? I said, what now outside of the chocolate, slipping off of the chocolate? Yeah, I need to eat my fruits. I said, you need to do that because you're about to get jumped on. I'm like, like I say, I come to old school. No, baby, you not gonna bring me all of that sassy. No, my great grandmama. Go ahead.
Look at your chat.
Okay, where is it at? Okay.
Look at the chat. I just put it in the chat. You keep messing up.
Did I do it again? It's not Dr.Chef, FF, and Jordan.
But look at it. You have lowercase. It's one of them is lowercase.
Oh, okay. The reason why I didn't was because a lot of the I be thinking about people that can't see well. That's the reason why I do. But does that boot y'all out if I don't do it like I used to do it?
I have to ask my daughter, will it? Because it has to. If he puts it in like that.
Because I've been putting it in caps because of that.
It's gonna kick it out, right? Yes. Yeah, it will.
Oh,
it will. Okay. It's case sensitive.
Okay.
It's case sensitive.
So it is case sensitive. Okay, so that's what people been telling me. Okay, well, thank you. Well, then I'll do it the way you did it, so it can highlight it. Thank you, Sister Jamaica. I'm sitting here missing out on my blessing for trying to think about people not being able to see. Okay, I will keep that in mind because I was thinking about that. I had some of the same people constantly asking me, "How do I send? I can't get it through," and that must be what it was because I have been doing that.
Yeah, it's case sensitive with all this stuff.
Okay. Yes, but I appreciate you all for sharing that. Oh, while I have you on there, I can make you a modifier so that way your stuff can show up highlighted. That's what I need to do. Make sure that you're highlighted there.
Okay.
Wow, I got you all. So what y'all gonna do for this Mother's Day weekend? Anybody like to do share? Anybody got anything special planned?
I'll be probably taking a nice
Don't say it. I don't say it. Don't say it. You better not say nap. You better not say nap.
BATH. A nice candlelit bath.
Okay.
With my oils and just relax. That's after I can
that's
get
important.
the twins down and relax.
Yes.
You know,
people don't understand how vital that is to a
it is.
mother,
I'm
especially with
looking at that.
toddlers and special needs children. Oh my God, that is golden. And not
Yes.
have nobody to holler and mama, come on. No, ooh, that is golden. I promise it
Yeah.
is. I've been there.
Yeah.
Like
That's it.
where I'm looking at the tub like it's some chocolate candy. Like
Yeah, you
one of
make
these
this.
days I'm gonna get to you. One of these days on the showers became my best friends. Where I say one of these days I'm gonna lay in you, like like you a tub.
That's it. That's it. It's just the simple things, you know, for me.
Yes, yes.
It's the simple things, because you know.
My God, then man, you said it right on the nose, because people, I try to tell people that's something that's very, very needed. Just to think about, water represents, for mothers, water represents hydrotherapy, meaning it relaxes the nerves, and especially when you get that proper temperature. Some cold do it for them, but most women I know, warm to hot does it. And then you can always add a little bit of organic lavender tea, peppermint, eucalyptic to help to distress. That's absolutely good for high blood pressure as well. For those who have fibroids, that's good, even though you have some now that's teaching that you shouldn't bathe when you have fibroids. But the problem, the issue that I have with that is that if you were a shower girl prior to developing your fibroids, whether it be after pregnancy or before a hysterectomy or partial whatever, if you, that womb has to be washed out, flushed out. And even though the body naturally releases toxins from us, from our V area, because of the constipation of all of the toxic foods and chemicals that the body has to go through every day, we're overworking the digestive, and not only the digestive system, but we're overworking the womb. Whether you be in menopause, so-called menopause stage now, which honestly, sisters, I'm gonna let y'all know now, moms, I don't believe in menopause stage. I do know that's something that they, menopause stage.
I remember you saying that.
Yes, I don't believe in that, because I'm gonna tell you why. It's not because of what I learned in no holistic training or anything. It comes from an ancient practice of knowing and meeting. Even Flossie, you all remember from Kenya, that's still a really good friend of mine. So she's also been a registered nurse for over 20 some years. She's in her 60s now, and she has never experienced no form, and she's been here for 20 some years now. She has not experienced menopause. I met several other women that practice eating any form of natural foods or from the earth. They have not experienced menopause. I am over 40 now. All the women before me, including my mother, said that they experienced hot flashes. I am convinced that it starts from the eating the American satanic diet. That's causing the constipation, and our women not never learning how to really take that bath and purge into herbs and into the lavenders and eucalyptus to cleanse that womb for at least 20 to 30 minutes, to flush that system with herbal teas, and making sure that we're practicing a good ritual of prayer and spiritual ones, even if it's just for 30 minutes a day, even if it's just for 15 minutes. If us as women and mothers could do that and make that a priority, like we do when it's time to prep food, like we do when it's time to make that special phone call and work from home, you would see a healing across the nation. You would see that we have more endurance too, more patience, more importantly, more of a discerning spirit. When I got entrapment into what I had to experience these past 2 years, I was not doing any of that. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was not. I told y'all I'll keep it 1 million.
Yes.
I was so busy working for the church, working for the neighborhood, working for the cause, working for so-called ministry, working with my children, working whether I had no time for myself. Maybe about 15 minutes even then. I'm running back and forth on the back and forth on east side of the town. And so by the time I would sleep, this is how Satan got me. By the time I would get rested, I would be exhausted. Exhausted. When I say exhausted, I mean exhausted. And that's when the adversary crept in my exhaustion. By the time I rose up to get some strength like Samson, damage had already been done. I rest my case. Women, get your break. Get your break in, mothers. Get your break. That may have seemed simple and little, but it's everything to get you to purge yourself in some water and have that me time, put you on some soothing, whatever sound or vibration that works for you. If it's a beautiful gospel song, fine. If it's classical, fine. If it's jazz, fine. Whatever you got, take that time out for you all selves, because that is when the adversary creeps in. That is when anxiety creeps in. That is when stress creeps in, is when you can't even reflect back on your day and see that you did any type of self-care. That's when it happens. So I recommend you all to do that when their husbands, or those of y'all that still married, and saying, okay, baby, what is you want? I want to take a bath. I want to relax. I want to go out on the porch and I don't want to hear no voices. I want to connect with me and the universe and God. And I want to go to the store just to do a little something. Don't always pick a purse. Don't always even pick money if you don't have to have it. Choose that's peaceful for you. And then they'll get the picture. Oh, okay, this is what and if they mess with that, then you already know what you got on your hand. You got a demon. And now we got to start rebuking some stuff. Then I have to pull out the old mother's way of doing it. That means you dealing with legions. Remember, and you can't really, you can't beat yourself up about it. Well, I've been dealing with this. No. Don't do that to yourself. Because if we want to go for those who do believe in the scripture, remember, Legion, when it was time for them to cast out those demons and that man running around, that's symbolic, y'all. Running around with the dead, always dealing with the dead to the point of where he found himself in chains in the graveyard. The apostles could not cast them demons out of him. He wore them regularly. They had to go get Yahshua, someone that could really cast out his demons. And what he did, he said he took and he drove them demons into the pigs, into the swine. To this day, one of the reasons why they say the swine is the most unclean thing to eat. Why come it couldn't have been done in no chickens and no turkey? Well, I believe that these evil, wicked people in high places, that's the reason why they say, okay, we're not just going to do it to swine. We're going to do it to all of the depth, all the flesh, even your flesh. We're finna detain all of y'all. So none of you get no peace. None of y'all, because they're for death, not for life. So if they're not for life for anybody, that means us first, you all. That means the woman first. That means the mother first, because we're the only ones that can rebirth the nation. That means the attack got to come to us first. Think about it.
That's it.
Who is the carrier in everything that we do? The first postal carriers also was women. Y'all do the homework. Black women, postal carriers. There was a black woman. We carried the torch. What do you hear even in the church section? Oh, it's the mother board. Now, we don't have the mother board as much no more, but but we know that's how it started off. The mothers. How did the educational system start off? It started off with the women, the mothers. They always used us to carry the load, to carry the house, to carry the business, to carry everything. And so that did not stop wicked people and wicked men in high places, in low places, from knowing that about us and coming to try and give us more of a load and a burden to carry. While they go out about and do whatever they want to do. And we supposed to say, oh, okay, you done? No, they carry more. They bring it back, whatever they had in the world, and they bring it back, and they finna lay that on you too. And this is the reason why I just had this conversation with another instructor and teacher that's profound, brother, that is out there in Maryland. And he just said, yeah, you have to be very careful. So you are a special one. If one get the queen, then that means that we're going to reap havoc on all of the other women. If we can get the unique queens like you, this is what he said. And I was like, oh my God, not I'm not hearing it again. But I took it as confirmation. He was standing from a place of love. If a entity can get to the queen, remember what the queen bee do with the bees. She's the one that helped to teach them how to formulate the honeycomb. So they say, if you want to destroy all of these bees, you got to get to the queen bee. They don't say, let's get to the father of the bees. They want to get to the mother of the bees. Because when we're destroyed, then automatically there's nobody left to take care of the children. There's no living examples of what love and nurturing looks like. And that's why I say that any man that does that to women, whether they try to or not, you curse with a curse. Oh, yes, you are. Because you're not just affecting that woman, you're affecting the children that come from her. You're affecting everybody that she has had to birth them, had to nurture, because they see her in pain. It's not, we don't see it that way with the father, because the men have already been trained that they just got to go out and work. We don't see it that way. And that's been the role. Go work, make some money. I don't care what position you're in, firefighter, police officer, it don't matter. Pastor, it don't matter. President. This society have not set our men up to be nurturers. Even if they have a nurturing part in them. For the most part, it is to come kill, steal, and destroy, and then try to plant a seed again. So they go around and plant their seed wherever they can, and expect for the mother to carry their demonic seeds. And I said it the way I meant it.
Yes.
Because that's what it is. Because if you don't learn how to take care of the mother, and you don't learn how to respect fully and give honor back to the mother, or who has been a mother to your children. I mean that. Then this is why our men fail. This is the number one reason why our men fail. I've watched it from time to time and time again. I've counseled it, I've lived it, and I've watched it. Where you see a man have an issue with his mother, you see him have issue with the women in his life. And there's very few cases where it's just the opposite. But I can guarantee you it's because that woman stood her ground. Just say, I don't care what you went through with your mom. I'm not your mama. This is who I am. And if you don't treat me as such and such, the queen that I know that I am, the mother that I know I am, I'm finna get rid of you.
2012.
Think about it. What does the mother bee does when she realizes somebody's messing with her? If she comes up to the front, she's coming out to sting. She's coming out to sting. She's finna put that big sting in you, because her job is to protect the honey, to protect the bees. She knows that her bees only have so long to live. And this is the reason why we have the issue mothers that we have, and how we do got to not be so gullible that even when certain men come about and want to get to your daughters when in early age and stage before they can get fully developed. And I know what I'm talking about because my mother was a teenager when she had me, just in case I left that part out. You take away her youth, and what happened is this so-called spiritual. But point to the wife of your youth. They think that means to get the woman before she's fully developed and even know who she is. So here you are, you impregnated 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 or 20. She haven't even learned her skill, her craft, what it is that she needs to do, or just even learn how to deal with her emotions. She didn't even learn how to deal with her body, and then you try to make her birth. All right, I'm going somewhere here. That's why we got the queen in Ghana out there in Africa stopping the men from going out there trying to impregnate the little girls as early as 9 and 10 if some of them get a cycle, and then expecting them to be a wife and a mother. And I've just had to deal with that recently too. I'm not signing on to that mess. No, I'm not signing on to that mess because your flesh is out of control, or because you thinking you big and popular and narcissism has full blown kicked in. No, I'm not. You know you sick. You know that you're demonic, and boy, more importantly, it's important for us as women to understand how powerful your womb is. Even if you can no longer have children, your womb carries, you still birth that vision. You got to know how sacred that is. So Mother's Day is the perfect time, the month of May. Mama, may I take care of myself? Yes, you may. Yes, you may. It's no coincidence that they put this time. I don't care if it was a white woman that started to honor her own mother during this time. Whatever. We are the mothers of the nation. The mothers of the nation are the ones that determine how this nation is going to turn out. It's not good enough to say it's these single moms that's causing the issues, but then you turn around and be a burden and a pressure to the single mom. No. Or to the widow. You turn around and try to put everything on the widow. No. The Bible even speaks against that. It says to take care of them. Why would a book that's ancient as the Bible? Think about it. Even with a lot of the terms of scripture seeming very misogynistic, yes, I did say it, where they done left out a lot of the writings of the powerful work that a lot of the women have done. Why in the world would why would even it say respect your mother and your father so that your days may be long? It sure didn't leave out the mother. It said mama first. Because they knew that mother was going to be the one that was taking care of the children. Trying to make sure that our men grew up to be men. That when daddy's gone off, we here in America don't practice the bar mitzvahs and making sure the rite of passage for our sons. I know I tried to do it with my son, but it was mocked. What? This is a joke. And I'm thankful to this day, my son will call me back and say, Mama, you did everything right for me. You did everything that you were supposed to do with me. Do you know how that made me cry. So don't ever think that you didn't do. I know what all you did with me that a lot of mothers wouldn't do. And so I never even allowed what my daughter was going through to stop me from finding other places and positive places for my son to be placed into. Because here it is, I know he's got all these sisters around, all these women around him, and my sisters and his uncles and cousins, they were working most of the time. His dad is across town and doing his own thing. So I knew that my son was going to need other positive male role model figures around him. So I did not, and I didn't. I tried to do the sports thing, but I couldn't because he was good. He was good at track and field like his dad was. But his father didn't want that for him. And to this day, that's something that we're thinking back on. Because I'm telling you now, us as mothers, I often fault myself where I said, I think I should have pushed a little harder. I should have pushed a little harder for this, that, and the other, because that's what we do as women. We're about growth and maturity and maturing, even though we all got the little girl left in us. That's why I played the song, You're My Little Darling Girl. It's ways to comfort. I'm learning that it's ways to comfort the little girl in us, but at the same time, teach and honor and respect the woman in us. So that way we're not allowing ourselves to be babied to the point to where we shuck our responsibilities. But we have done a hell of a job doing it with these men, these sons. We have done, and women, we have to do better. Mothers, we have to do better. Because that son grows up to be a thorn in the side of another mother. And that's a curse that he will not be able to get rid of until he get it right. I know, y'all were expecting that. I know that's deep. I know it's deep. I know it's deep. But I'm speaking because I have a son. I know what I'm talking about. Thankfully, my grandson's mother, you was a good mother. I just want you to know you've been like a mother to me. And I'm like, yes, baby, yes, that's what I'm supposed to do. Even when she gets in her moods, because I didn't raise her. I just sit back patiently. I was like, okay, I'm gonna let you have your move, but at the end of the day, you gonna have to come back through this. You gonna have to come back around to me. Cause I got some things. See, I know that child better than you know him because I birthed his father. I know what look, I see what you don't see. Uh-huh. And to this day, she will. She don't mind. She telling them, no, I'll let them go where you want them to go. I said, oh, praise God. Oh, praise God, because you know I'm not going to do anything wrong towards my grandson. And so I'm saying to you all, I know the journey is not easy. There's so much I could share with you all on this Mother's Day special. So much. So much. But we only got this a little bit of time here. Let me see, where am I at? Oh yes, I got a class that I was supposed to go to. But and man, it's been a pleasure. It's just been a pleasure, and I appreciate you all taking out your evening and your time with me during this journey. And I want you all to continue. Like I keep you all in prayers. I want you all to keep me in prayers. I pray that I didn't say anything to dampen anyone's spirit, but to be an encouragement to let you all know that yes, even in the midst of me missing my firstborn child and my mother, and no, it's not as happy as it would be if my child or my mother was still here in the land of living. But I am still thankful because I had a mother that taught me how to be thankful. Even in the midst of adversity, she even prepped me in a lot of ways for her passing. Looking back on it, she prepped me for it. And I'm like, oh, thank God. At least I got a mind to remember the things that she said to me. And yes, I too, like you all, got to deal with opposition of other people that don't have children, but yet they always got something to say. And I look like, what? Wait a minute. You ain't birthed nothing but your mouth. Now, this not for the ones that got the nurturing. Let me be clear. This is not for those who really do have the love of God in them. And because there are some mothers that desire their mother that birth children that have not birthed them, that are beautiful women, beautiful mother figures. So I'm not going to say that for those who I'm talking about for the ones that think that no doggone well you ain't trying to have no child because you know your selfish self. I'm going to say it like I'm supposed to, like I mean it. You know you ain't trying to birth no kids, but yet you always in another mother's business. Stay out of business. You putting a curse upon yourself too. Go sit down somewhere and shut up and learn something. Yeah, I said it. Mm-hmm. Stay out of another mother's business. You do not know what that mother knows about her child. And even if they did confide in you and tell you something, that does not give you the right, no rights to be sitting there trying to cause no form of division. You're supposed to be supporting that mom and helping to be part of the village that teach the children how to be respectful. You're not supposed to be teaching children anything opposite of the good things that they have placed in their children. And you're not supposed to be using the growing pains that we as mothers and parents had to go through to raise our children. You're not supposed to be trying to take and go against that and talking about what the new age is talking about. Whatever. See, it's my mama talking now and my grandmama talking. But see, that's the difference between then and now. My mom and them, they didn't have to say it. They showed you better than they can tell you. You just knew by that look. You better get on up out of here. They gave that look. Y'all know that look. And kept walking. And don't let them get to praying. I had a mother that some prayers would get answered. I had to tell my mama, don't pray, because my daughter didn't, Najee, my firstborn, didn't want to eat until she was 4.5. She just shut her mouth down. She only wanted to drink. She was choosing to do it because she knew something was going on wrong with her body. I'm going to share that part with you. And my mom said, that's okay. That's okay. She going to eat because I'm going to pray that she eat. And mind you, at this point, I know the power of my mama prayers. And I said, oh, wait a minute, Mom. She going to eat so much. You're going to have to tell her to stop eating. And she just getting ridiculous with it. Yes, she was. And I said, Mom, don't do that. Don't do that, Mom. No, Mama, you pray that she eat in moderation. Well, what y'all think happened? My mama didn't pray that she eat in moderation. My mama prayed that that girl eat up the whole house, and that's exactly what she was trying to do, eat up the whole house. And I'm like, oh my God, every 5 minutes we running back and forth to try to get her out of that refrigerator when she start walking. I said, oh, mama. That's what I did. I said, mama. I said, mama, for the first time. I said, that's what I'm talking about. You prayed that this girl would eat up until I have to stop her, and then that's exactly what's happening. On top of her condition. I mean, you could be done just fed her an hour ago, and this girl be ready to eat again. I had to find dishes that would be thick enough for her, and I literally had to wean her off of bread because I knew it was so fulfilling. I said, mama, and she finally got quiet and just said, oh, okay, Felicia, okay. Well, we gonna pray that that she just start just eat enough to get, and guess what? Within a year or so she did. She started eating more in moderation. She did. So that's the kind of power that I know that can reside in us as women as well. I don't think that was just I don't think that was just my mother. That's the power of the woman. That's the power of a mother that loves and cares. God He hears your prayers. And it's even sometimes, even when you pray in prayers, it's not good. That's why some people still call it a form of witchcraft, because they're like, wait a minute now. You showed that, hey, when you said that God gonna get that fella, he sure got. I heard another mother just say it last year. She was over that pulpit and this fella called himself beating on her daughter. And she's a pastor. And she said, no, I prayed and her daughter, the brothers was wanting to go after the man. He said, no. She said, hold on. She said, don't bother, leave him alone. God gonna get him. Y'all remember that kind of talk. God gonna get him. Nah, because the daughter wasn't in a position at that point to feel like she could leave. And rest assured, that fella done ran himself to the pole. Pole went right through his chest. He survived. But that's far worse than what the brothers was going to do to him. And so from that point forward, him surviving that, is every time he came around the saw, he gets scared. Let me get away from him. Let her get away. This is just a praying woman. She was just a praying woman. Now, I can't tell you specifically what she prayed. But I can tell you this, it's some power in the prayers when we can't fix it concerning our children. And I'm a witness of it many times. I'm a witness. My daughter would not speak, and I used to tell her, I was telling them, I know her by her body language. I know her while she speak. And somebody said, well, aren't you afraid to send her to school? What if somebody pick on her? What somebody? I said, I would know. And it did. It happened one time. My daughter was still wearing a helmet at this time. And she came out. She was always happy getting on the bus and getting off. It wasn't up but a few children on it. And so I knew her spirit when she get off that bus. Sometimes she wouldn't want to get off because she liked to ride so much, and I would have to ride her around sometimes. And she would sit there. And so one time she did. She got off that bus. She was moving her head. She moving her head, and she stomping, and she was pouting up a storm. And I said, Najee, I said, what is wrong, baby? She wasn't no more than about 9 at the time, about 8 or 9. I said, what's wrong? And rest assured, some said, look, because I couldn't see. I checked the whole body to make sure that nobody hit her. And so some said, check in the folder, because they would send notes every day. I communicated every day with the teachers back and forth. And I know she just had to transfer to another school. And so I went ahead and I looked at the note, and some said, look in there real good. And the teacher got smart. I could have slapped her whole face up. Lord, forgive me, but I could have. She sit there and she put one of them little bitty, tiny little sticky thing in. Now, Jay had a little incident, but we got it resolved. A boy pulled her helmet, da. So I goes and speak to her assistant, and the assistant told me the truth. So yeah, he did. He came in, he attacked her. He grabbed her, little white boy came and attacked her, grabbed her, what you call, and he wouldn't let it go. My baby held that. She knew. She held that till she got home to let me know that she did not have a good day. And I told him, I said, I went into that IEP. I looked at it, I said, okay, first of all, y'all call me for everything else. And this particular principal was most definitely prejudiced. But she didn't know I lived right next door to the woman. Go show you how God worked. I lived right next to the woman that actually babysitted her when she was a child. Was when I told her what happened. Then that's when my neighbor had shared it with me. Oh, I know them. She said all of them was horrible. She said they something else. And she went on to tell me they spirits, their attitudes. She said, oh, I know it. She called her by her first name. I said, oh, really? So you know about this time now, I'm ready to go up to the school. I'm coming there dressed all nice and professional. And I sat back and this same chair, I set that chair back there, real comfortable, called in the meeting. They filled that whole office, that whole watch. They said something about you every time when you go in for your IUP, usually it's only one or two people but something about when you come, they bring in all of the staff. I said, is that right? That's interesting. And I was just about to get a youth advocate. And I did bring a youth advocate. And I said, okay, this incident that is taking place, I understand that it could happen. I said, but the manner that you all chose to communicate this to me as a mother, I said, I found it out of order. And it showed the lack of care. That little piece of tab that you sent me when it's a whole sheet of paper that the teacher signs off on to let me know if anything took place, just like the ones when I have y'all marking off how many seizures y'all see her having. This type of serious incident was supposed to be written where I could see it, not have to dig down inside of a folder on a tiny piece of paper and find it. So I said, so it leads me, and I got not a one phone call because I know my baby cried. I said, so I would like to have her transferred to the other school that they cater to more of the things that the special needs children have. So if I want the carpet changed because your hard floor is too dangerous, if I want the chalkboard, I'm telling you, I wasn't no joke. I said, if your chalkboard crossing across there is too thick, and I want you to put foam across there to make sure if you take it up to that chalk, I want that on there too. She got to have her own personal aid because y'all told me that you got to have my child. So she got to have her own personal aid. Figure it out. She also have to have her own bus coming because she has a severe sleeping disorder. You want my child, then you got to come today because I know you get $75,000 a year in this district for my child. See, I had another mother that told me my rights because she worked within the system. Do you know that white woman, boy, she got so hot and mad, she slammed the stuff down, showed herself, turned her seat around, and stormed out of the meeting. The other therapists and the other assistants and everybody's holding their head down like, yes, ma'am, you can transfer her out to the school that they didn't want me to be able to send my child to. Because this is supposed to be for the elite. This is supposed to be for the others. But because you dropped the ball, you play right into my hands with your evil self. And that's how I got my child out of that school. So I'm telling y'all, that was my first time ever experiencing anything like that. But when you are a mother and you know that your child is 100% relying on you and you're the only one that could be the advocate for them, it's true about that mama bear. It comes out. It comes out. I was not prepared for that. No college had taught me that. Nobody sat me down and told me, except for, I take that back, an auntie of mine, did tell me because my ex-husband cousin at the time had gone through the system, and she said, you have to be your child's voice. That is what she told me. She said, and it's not going to be easy. She did warn me. Auntie Massey, she warned me. Beautiful spirit. And so I knew that I had to go in and make sure, especially when you're around them others, that the same shield and safety nets that they had around there as my child had deserved it too. So when I look back over the life and everything that I learned, I carried that same protectiveness over to you all. When it comes down to this health and wellness, and nobody can change that. I don't care if they told me that I was going to get a chance to be beside somebody and they speaking towards millions. If I smell something that ain't right, if I sense it in my motherly intuition that you're not doing something that's right towards our children and our women, I'm out. I'm out, because the blood ain't going to be on my hand. No way, Jose. Yeah, I take the licking and keep on ticking. But you ain't going to get hope to these that I have, that God has placed in my possession. You had a chance. And this is how we all have to be, you all. I know it's not easy. It was not easy to get to this place where you realize you have to be the mother of a nation. It's not easy. It's not meant to be. When you in a fight for your life, how many of y'all done seen the dog fights when the dog come and try to grab the baby? Them parents, man, them mamas heavy up. They trying to snatch the baby back and they going at the dog. They don't care if they get bit up. That's me. You want to bite me up? Well, get ready, because I'm finna try to make sure I can make these hands be the jaws of life. I'm getting ready to break some jawbones. Because I know what I am held accountable for. And so it only made sense that towards my daughter's death, that yes, I got a chance to see. I asked God that if she ever go, then take her in a sleep in our home where I know and make her be at peace. I asked him for that a long time ago when she was born, that if he only gave me, as long as he gave me more time than the doctor said that I had with her. I asked God for that time, and I asked her how I wanted her to go. And even though there is other questions out there, with God, I'm content. With man, I'm not. But I can tell you this much: it only made sense that chaos had to take place surrounding her passing, because then that way I was able to see who was for me and who was against me. I was able to see clear as day. Clear as day. Them demonic forces couldn't hide. Couldn't hide no longer. It was already seeping out little bit by little bit. But then I was able to see much more clear. Just like I see now that my mother's gone, when my daughter transitioned, my eyes was able to come close. I was able, because now I'm not distracted with the everyday tasks that I had to do. I'm not running a rat race now. I'm not having somebody trying to deliberately distract me into having me doing 50 billion things. And then the moment I try to take a little bit of a break, they still on me, hounding me. What you doing? Watch your this, watch your that, one that. Oh, you want to do this, you want to do it. Just trying to control my every inch of my day. So now with her transitioning, they got a song, y'all. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. It's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. You have to know that you got to fight for that bright, sunny, shiny day. You have to fight for it sometimes. When you get locked into the claws and the jaws of life, whether that be through a job, whether that be through somebody an organization that says it's spiritual, whether it be through a toxic mate, whether it be through any means, a hard-headed child, we are still held responsible for holding down the fork, as they say. Not just cooking and giving people the fork, but we are still held responsible of keeping the home, keeping the house, keeping the womb. Ready to love, ready to cultivate, ready to build. That's me. That's That's what I'm thankful for when we're talking about honoring mothers. All right. All right, y'all. I gotta get out of here. I'm so thankful that you all thought to tune in. Thank you so much for your encouragement. Thank you all so much for your cash app and your support. I appreciate you all. You all can text at any time. I pray that you all do what is peaceful and what makes you happy, and that you get all of the gifts and the honor that you need. And if you don't, then know that I honor you. I love you. See how I do that? I love you, not just for supporting me, but for standing strong and tall in the midst of adversity for yourself as a mother, as a woman. I'm so thankful for you all, and I'll continue to keep you all in the prayers. Please keep me in prayers. I know it's not going to be easy. Tomorrow is my mother's birthday, and I know I'm going to have to get my cry out, and I'm going to do it, but I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. And I know on Sunday, I'm thankful that I have two other daughters. I have a son, I have a grandson, and I have other youth that see me as a mother. And I'm going to cry then too. But I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. And it's just so, but just note the encouragement is what I believe. The power of prayer and encouragement is what I believe has been used as a tool to help me to believe that I'll be all right. So I give that right back to you all with much love and tender care. Happy Mother's Day. And you all enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your whole month. We'll carry this on. You all have a blessed evening. All right.